Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to mismapasion. And how do you like that for a semi-final showdown? Yes, indeed, the Champions League semi-finals have come to a wrap this past weekend, and the promise of fireworks, jeopardy, and thrill-seeking entertainment was signed, sealed, and fully delivered on all fronts. With, as predicted, the final showdown being contested by FC Barcelona and Olympique Lyonnais. Now in this video, we will take a look at the semi-final encounters that took place over the last two weekends and look at just how these two behemoths of the women's game punched their tickets to the final in the San Mamés Stadium in Bilbao, Spain. At the flip of a coin, we begin our review in Barcelona and London, where the current champions Barcelona faced their biggest test so far this season in the form of the Blue Lions of Chelsea. A lot of narratives had gone into this game, from it being the final semi-final clash, at least for the foreseeable future that is, between the two coaches Jonathan Giraldez and Emma Hayes, to it also being, of course, a replay of last season's semi-finals as well. And while it may not have been easy on the eye of those watching at home and live in person at the stadiums, the encounter between both teams still proved to be an exceptional clash nonetheless. The first leg of the tie saw Chelsea taking a trip to sunny Spain, where they shocked the system of Barcelona to the very core with an early strike from Aaron Cuthbert, seeing the visitors laying siege to the usually impenetrable Barcelona fortress. In my predictions video, I saw absolutely no way in which Chelsea could provide an adequate enough response to the questions that Barcelona would pose, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for the tactical masterclass that Emma Hayes deployed across this tie, which I cannot commend her enough for. In both legs, Chelsea were like molasses, just sticky, stodgy, hard to break apart or control, and Barcelona struggled with this for the most part. Usually, the Catalans are afforded so much space to operate and make magic on the pitch by their opposition, but Hayes took one look at the script and said no. She set up her team to consume every last morsel of space on the pitch, forcing Barcelona to play far beyond their comfort zones by resorting to making extremely hard passes on the ground and in the air, which forced mass turnovers in Chelsea's favor. And even in the event that the likes of Caroline Graham Hansen found themselves through on goal, one of the most diabolical low block defenses was ready and waiting to snuff out the danger before hoofing the ball up towards Colombian sensation Mayra Rodriguez, who was a constant nuisance to the Barca backline the whole day up until she was eventually substituted by her manager. The London outfit did eventually go on to shock the footballing world by not only holding on to in the first leg 1-0, but as a result, they became the first team to beat Barcelona in this entire season, and, just to put the cherry and sugar dust on top of it all, also became the first team to beat Barcelona at their home ground in 5 years. In my opinion, that is as big of an accolade as things go, just considering the pedigree that Barcelona possessed in the women's game. And it is the same pedigree that came to the forefront in the second leg of the encounter. Playing at a sold-out Stamford Bridge, which was for the first time ever in Chelsea women's history, Chelsea intended to do more of the same against Barcelona, and at the embryonic stages of the game, it was effective, but Barcelona being Barcelona, you don't boast an entire squad of world stars and Ballon d'Or winners for nothing, as current holder Aitana Bonmati soon proved her mettle and opened the scoring for the visitors in the 16th minute and drawing themselves level against Chelsea on aggregate. The match itself maintained its pattern from the first leg, with Barcelona generally struggling to break down the Chelsea block, with the Blues having a far more enjoyable affair of things, as they laid siege to Barcelona's box time and again, but with no tangible results to show for it. And the flashpoint moment in the game, and ultimately the tie, came in the 59th minute when Chelsea defender Khadija Buchanan saw red after she received a second yellow for a belated stamp to the foot on the opposition player, which, as you can imagine, was the biggest talking point of the entire tie. In my opinion, the decision could have gone either way, depending on the referee who would be officiating on the day. Whilst in this match, the official gave Buchanan her marching orders, another one could have waved it away as unintended contact and just given the player a warning. Nevertheless, Chelsea were down to 10 players and would soon feel the effects of it as a desperation tackle on Bonmati in the box saw the Catalans be granted a penalty that, after a VAR review, was dispatched coolly by Fridolina Rolfo in what would turn out to be the match-winning goal that granted Barcelona the first berth in the Champions League final. This tie was women's football at its tactical elite here, and what Emma Hayes did in these two games must surely become a foundation on which teams can look to build on and improve over time as a means to topple Barcelona in future crunch encounters and even domestically for those that can live up to the challenge. To the average fan though, watching these two would likely have been a snooze fest that was only good in moments, which is understandable unless you are rooting for either side, in which case you will have been at the edge of your seat for the entirety of the 180 minutes. But when it did come to entertainment, luckily for us though, there was another semi-final encounter in France that proved to be box office in every way imaginable. D1 Arkheimer rivals Paris Saint-Germain and Olympique Lyonnais locked horns over the remaining spot in the final, and as I'd hoped, this encounter was everything you could have asked for. The drama, action, and thrills were all accounted for, and you could honestly not say that you were not entertained by the time the final whistle had been blown in the French capital. The first leg incredibly laid the foundation of things to come, as former holders Lyon found themselves in unfamiliar territory, for being honest, as they were trailing by 2 goals courtesy of a Marie-Antoinette Katoto brace that had the Parisians in dominant control as they endeavored to take their lead back to the Parc des Princes. And it appeared to be going this way with everything Lyon threw at PSG, just not doing enough to really test the opposition, which was up until the final 10 minutes of the game, where, like something out of a Disney movie featuring singing teenagers, Olympique Lyonnais cobbled together one of the most impressive comebacks of all time ever. As the old saying goes, it be your own sometimes, and this time it was Kadidiatu Diani who came back to haunt her former employer and teammates as the strike got things rolling for Lyon, who only 5 minutes after getting their first goal of the game got their second through none other than young Haitian sensation Melchi Corpentina Dumornay, who pulled off some scintillating individual actions to draw Legon level with PSG before Amel Matri completed the turnaround with an exquisite far post shot that beat the keeper as it bounced in off the post to give Olympique Lyonnais the narrow but deserving lead going into the second leg. The ultimate semi-final clash took place in Paris, and didn't take long for Olympique Lyonnais to continue where they left off, as it only took 3 minutes for Salma Bacha to open the scoring and give the now visitors an extended aggregate score against PSG 4-2. Despite them now being on the other end of the scoreline, PSG did not allow themselves to be overtaken by the emotions of the occasion, and with the 12th man in the crowd, endeavored to mount a comeback of their own against their bitter rivals. Though they had the majority of the game to make magic, it took the individual brilliance of PSG stalwart Tabitha Chawinga to finally put her side on the scoreboard after a plethora of attempts by the home team to get back on level footing, which, honestly speaking, should have happened much sooner than it ultimately did. PSG had so many good opportunities through on goal, but whether it was second thoughts on the part of the attacking player or players, or Lyon defenders appearing at the last minute to eliminate any potential threats or dangers to their own goal, the home side could not do business like they did in the first leg, which ultimately did come back to haunt them in the dying embers of the second half. Almost as if she read the previous game script word for word, bar for bar, Melchi Dumornay stepped up again and came in clutch for her team with yet another fantastic strike in the 81st minute to all but guarantee Lyon's spot in the final in Bilbao. And watching this match, I really can't help but to commiserate with PSG here. They were exceptional across both legs and were arguably the better side overall, and barely put a foot wrong except maybe when they capitulated at the end of the first leg, which honestly speaking should not have happened given how well they had initially started off. Olympique Lyonnais though continued to struggle to shake doubts, at least from my perspective, about their overall level of dominance, because I really do think that they did their absolute best to make life hard for themselves by not only going down the first leg, but by also allowing in wave after wave of sustained pressure and offense from their opponents in the second leg. And if their performances in this tie are anything to go by, then Barcelona shouldn't have too much of an issue righting the wrongs of 2022. Overall, the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League did not disappoint, and it is sad to think that this season's edition is about to endure its swan song. The final will take place on the 25th of May, so not too very far away. And I must say that it has been an absolutely enjoyable tournament up to this point, and the final itself in Bilbao will undoubtedly be the personification of all the great action we've been privileged to watch so far. Thank you very much for watching, as always. If you have found anything in this video to have been interesting, or anything you might want to discuss about in general when it comes to women's football, then feel free to leave a comment. Like the video if you've enjoyed, share it too so that others can enjoy as well, and subscribe for more women's football content. Until next time, goodbye for now.